you actually become a fool. You know what you do? You suppress the truth about God by your wickedness. And you know what happens? His wrath is poured upon you. Don't believe it? First they say there is no God. Get him out of your mind. Then they bow down to birds, animals, and reptiles, and each other. And the first thing you see coming out of them is gross sexual immorality. They will dishonor their bodies with one another, degrade each other. Is that going on in the United States of America? Look around. God's not there. We have all the answers. Don't hurt a little bird or an animal. And boy, is there some immorality going on around here. Does it get worse? Therefore, because they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, he gave them over to shameful lusts. Women exchanged natural relations and were inflamed with lust for one another. And the men were inflamed with lust with each other. Women with women, men with men. They committed indecent acts with one another. And they received in themselves the due penalty for their perversion. They're full of murder, envy, strife, hatred. They are insolent, arrogant, God-haters. They are heartless. They are faithless. They are senseless. They are ruthless. They invent ways of doing evil. That's what you have. 235 years, roughly, after your forefathers founded the country. So what are you going to do, Pennsylvania? Just run with them? You're going to die. Don't forget that. That's the bad news. You're going to die. If he's not there, we all lose. If he is there, and this is true, and our fathers of our country were correct, we do have some God-given unalienable rights to live, be free, and to pursue happiness. If that much is true, then we've got some winners. I got to go with it. Now, since it's fine with God, shoot ducks. If you want to be a world champion duck caller, here's what you're going to have to do. I've never heard a duck do that. But about 30 years ago, they said in order for you to become a world champion duck caller and to sell duck calls, you're going to have to win the world champion duck call contest at Stuttgart, Arkansas. And when I asked, what is it that I have to do, that's what they did. And I said, I never heard a duck do that. And I said, by the way, could a duck win it? They said, man, a duck can't even place in the thing. I said, well, you know, if a duck can't win a duck call contest, I don't think I'm going. So, that's what you'd have to be a world champion duck caller, which I'm not. And you get down to ducks. Now, I know you ladies are sitting on the edge of your seat, so I won't stay here long. Ladies, what you're fixing to hear, and I know you're thinking, oh, I hope he keeps blowing those duck calls. Ladies, this would be a teal, a green-winged teal. They're not very loud. That's the little drake. That's all he can do. The little hen's like this. hen teal, and that's the drake teal. This would be an American ball pig, a widgeon. Sounds just like one. Here's a pintail. Notice it's broken. When you get home tonight, look in the mirror, and there ought to be, Louisiana people have them, I think Pennsylvania people would have them. There ought to be a little round piece of meat that hangs down in the back of your throat. A little piece of meat back there long. You check it, see if you got one. We got them in Louisiana. Me being a creation man, like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Abraham Lincoln before me. Abraham Lincoln. The Bible's the greatest gift God ever gave to mankind. All the love of the Savior of the world is communicated to us through this book. Honest Abe, what a man. I'm still there. That little round piece of meat, if you didn't have that, all you could come up with is this. That's a backhoe backing up. Called nothing. But when you break that, therefore, the reason, ladies, the little piece of meat is hanging there. Because I'm wondering, what is that? What's that doing there? If you didn't have that, you couldn't sound like a pintail. That's the reason God gave you that little thing. You got it? Now, there's your pintail, there's your widgeon, there's your teal, hen, and drake. This is a gadwall, girls. Gadwall. Read up. One leg. I'm going tat. Sounds just like one. Here is a mallard drake, the old green head. It's a whistle. But I'm going real low. I figured out that if you hummed a bass note into a whistle I had built, it would sound like mallard drake. No one in the world had a mallard drake at the time. And don't you get it, Pennsylvania? Once I patented that and built that, the only way you could get one is from me. It was about that time I started going from a nobody to a somebody. Because $20 and one of them is yours. Are you with it? That's the way it works. She said, how in the world did you ever think of that? Look, I've never owned a ring. You know, rings people put on? I never got around to buying one of those. Didn't see any need for it. I've never owned a watch. Never owned one. Someone says, well, good night. How in the world do you tell the time? It's just after dark. Then we got on up into the night. That's between 9 and 12 o'clock. The dead of night, that's about 12. Then you got just before daylight. Daylight, sun up, mid-morning, noon, afternoon, just for sunset. Are you with me here? It leads for a lot less stressful life. See, Terry Bradshaw was my second stringer. I was a quarterback, Louisiana Tech. Bradshaw signed over here in Pittsburgh. He's my second stringer. He never beat me out. You say, could you throw a football? Well, he couldn't beat me out. You say, well, good night, son. What happened to you? What happened to me? Bradshaw went into